If you've been following this podcast for some time, or you're a regular reader of my reviews at The Hand That Feeds HQ, you'll know that I am quite fond of 2D music projects that have rich, engaging story that can be understood, even if it is my first time coming across those. Hell, I'm even a bit geek about concept albums, all because I love rich storytelling. So when you have 2D music projects embracing situation drama parts, you know for sure that I'll be all over those. Good stories translate into good music, and good music can elevate those stories, bring those to life in a way that newcomers can quickly and easily get into the music, and thus the 2D music projects in question. And then there are those 2D music projects that take an extra step. What if you were part of the story, and the music was all about you, the character in that story? In honor of good stories that are told through music by 2D music projects, and the effort put into you being the story's protagonist, it's time to cover the 2D music plus situation drama projects that you should check. Let's kick off this episode of Seiyu Lounge. Welcome to Seiyu Lounge. I am your host Vanessa, and today's topic is 2D music plus situation drama projects that you should check. Forget all about those unnecessarily convoluted 2D music projects that require you to spend a lot of time diving into the story, the characters, play the games, check the drama CDs, all the manga and its spin-offs and anime, just to understand the music. This time around, the focus is on 2D music projects that do two things really well and haven't strayed away from that formula in which their stories are best fleshed out and told to and with you, the listener. There is no complexity here. These are projects that take you on a journey, make you the protagonist, leaving those stories alongside the main cast, which can be comprised of members of one band or a group, solo artists, or even just the frontman of such bands. The focus is all on storytelling, and that story is perfectly fleshed out through music, making it so that you can, if you're not that big of a fan of drama CDs or even games, skip those all together and still understand the whole story, however, without experiencing firsthand through the drama CD portions of those CDs. Once again, in case this is the very first time you are hearing about 2D music projects that have a strong drama CD component or even a big focus on situation drama with the listener as the main character, I'll give you a quick rundown of some of the topics or words you'll hear me talking about in this episode. 2D music projects are, first and foremost, projects all about music performed by fictional characters or 2D characters. Those characters are voiced by voice actors that may or may not have singing experience. Some projects don't require that, whereas others hold auditions or pick and offer roles to voice actors that have a proven record of being good singers. In some projects, only some members sing, in others all members sing. It really depends on the project and the music genre. Rock bands usually only have one seiyuu in charge of singing. Idol groups have a cast ensemble in which all will sing. Visual novel games consist in games that are text-heavy. You'll have to read a whole lot, and usually you are the protagonist in those, making decisions that will influence the ending you get and quite possibly the lives of the characters in those stories. Although not as common today, visual novel games used to be big in the early 10s. Drama CDs are a popular type of media in Japan in which you can tell any kind of story. It goes from regular drama CDs, recorded with a narration microphone and in which you're mostly a bystander, to situation CDs recorded using a dummy head mic. A dummy head mic is a special binaural microphone used to create a realistic performance set in a 3D environment. Recordings made with this microphone take you to these stories, making the content extremely immersive. For the duration of those CDs, you are in the same place as the character a seiyuu is portraying. For more on that, and what is a dummy head mic, and how complex it is the recording session whenever there is one at the center, I welcome you to check episode 13 of Seiyu Lounge. Now that the basic notions are covered, let's check the projects I've chosen to highlight in this feature. Bremen. For many of you, Bremen is a project that you are not familiar with. I can't blame you because it has been pretty low-key in its presentation despite its star-studded cast. Bremen is a 2D Music Plus situation drama CD project by Orangette that follows the adventures of the members of the rock band Bremen. The band is fronted by Kanato Hanajima, voiced by Junta Terashima, who is simultaneously the guitarist, drummer Kyohei Koga, voiced by Nobuhiko Okamoto, bassist Hikari Amamiya, voiced by Shoya Chiba, and keyboardist Ritsu Inui, voiced by Makoto Furukawa. The common denominator for all members in this band is that they lost their place in the bands they were previously with for various reasons. It's up to you to find closely with each one what was the issue at the core of them losing their place and ending up later on finding a safe haven in Bremen. Where do you, the listener, and the protagonist in the individual drama CDs enter? Your starting point is different for each member. For Kanato, voiced by Junto Terashima, you work at a music store that he visits frequently. It has come to the point that he only asks you to tune his guitar, later on inviting you for a guerrilla live by Bremen. With Kyohei, voiced by Nobuhiko Okamoto, you're a sophomore in graduate school taking a master's degree. Kyohei has just entered graduate school, hence you do not know each other until a certain party in which he saves you from being harassed. With Hikari, voiced by Shoya Chiba, you are high school classmates. Hikari has a part-time working at a lifehouse, and you've always been part of his circle of friends, with you having an obvious crush on him for ages. And with Ritsu, voiced by Makoto Furukawa, you're a childhood friend of his. You dream of playing a duet with Ritsu's piano and your violin, however, things go wrong midway through and your close relationship takes a toll. As you can tell from these brief takes on each story, there is an interesting main story, why Bremen is a haven for outcasts. And then equally compelling sub-stories with each member having a source of pain and you, the listener, coming across them or be in their lives in a unique capacity, easing that pain. The protagonist, you, the listener, is a strong person and not a damsel in distress. This is actually something that the new projects in this field have been embracing. Strong, determined, and passionate protagonists making the listeners feel like they have more control over the situations and not just roll their eyes to ridiculous decisions. For the music portion of Bremen, only Junta Terashima sings. And given how each member is an outsider, the music in the franchise reflects that. In this project, music is almost like salvation, like screaming, "I'm here." It feels like a second chance that all members don't want to throw away. At the moment of recording this episode, the franchise is focused 95% on the situation drama component, counting with only 2 songs in its repertoire. I started off this feature with Bremen exactly because it is a new project following this format that few dare to venture to, and so far it has been interesting with stories that definitely are worth spending some time to dive into. Perfection Noise. Perfection Noise is yet another fairly recent project in the Music Plus situation drama side of the entertainment industry. However, contrary to Bremen, in Perfection Noise, you, the listener, are Noise Nova's brand new manager with all individual CDs starting off from the point in which you are first introduced to them. Before the solo music plus situation drama CDs, the franchise has one CD that documents how the group came to be and the struggles they faced as they tried to understand each other and their motivations. From that point on, each CD has you, the listener, assuming the role of Noise Nova's young manager, fresh out of college and always with the same dream. You wanted to become a manager because of Noise Nova and you were lucky enough to get to start working with them. Your personality is the same across all CDs. You're strong, determined and passionate, getting on the nerves of some members for being too professional, even in the face of teasing or even bullying, as some members will try to make you quit your position or clash with members that have the same personality as you, earnest and focused at all times. Narumi, voiced by Shoya Chiba, is Noise Nova's co-center and easily the face of the group. Earnest, passionate and always with a chip on his shoulder, he'll easily see himself in you as you have a similar personality and drive. He does have an inferiority complex towards the seemingly perfect Sena and isn't honest with his feelings, something that ends up leading to misunderstandings. Sena, voiced by Soma Saito, is the group's co-center and ace. He's a fantastic dancer and a singer with an insane degree of professionalism. Due to that level of professionalism, he tends to look down on those younger or with less experience than him, which ends up with him and you butting heads. He does have a unique and rather tragic motivation behind his insane professionalism and want to be the best, and you end up uncovering that in his solo drama CD. Akito, voiced by Kaito Ishikawa, is Noise Nova's sub-vocal and rapper. He ends up being like a father to everyone in the group, however, when alone, he doesn't talk much or show anything about himself. This ends up being intriguing to you as you take quite some time to have him open up to you and welcome you with open arms as their manager. Chisato, voiced by Ryohei Kimura, is Noise Nova's leader and resident mother figure. While he is incredibly diligent and professional in his work, he is actually deeply hurt as an individual, incessantly looking for someone with which he can be, for a change, weak and vulnerable without being judged. In the Perfection Noise franchise, there's a rich backstory to the group, from their formation to stardom, but also rich, well-developed stories for each member, shedding a light on why they acted in specific ways in the core drama CD, fleshing out those personalities as they solve their issues or come to peace with the happenings in their life that traumatize them. Carnelian Blood. Reject has been at the forefront when it comes to creating twisted projects with vampires or blood at their core. Carnelian Blood arrives as such a unique project, embracing the concept of blood in a different way. Reject states right off the bat that the project follows 5 brothers of unknown background and unknown origin. They are not bound by blood but by fate. This is as cryptic as you can get, and it may make some people not that interested in the story as little is developed in that intro. Contrary to all other projects mentioned in this episode, Carnelian Blood actually is a mixed media project, meaning that the story isn't developed exclusively by drama CDs and music. Some comics and vomics complement as well as flesh out those stories. For purposes of this episode, however, let's assume you won't check those and will actually want to dive into the stories and music first and foremost. 5 brothers of unknown background that are famous as Erosion, the 5-vocal rock band with a rugged sound that impressed a lot of people within its story. There's tragedy, passions, and dreams behind each character related to how music has saved them. Those concepts are developed through the music plus situation drama CD series Erosion with You from Carnelian Blood. Given how the franchise has only recently, at the time of recording this episode, kicked off this solo music plus situation drama CD series, I'll keep spoilers at a bare minimum. welcoming you to check the CDs should any character or even the band's robust rock sound pique your interest. Trigger, warning, your fate can be tragic with all of them, with Reject adding death and cheat epilogue bonus CDs to complement the individual stories. Also, there are some characters that talk about suicide quite often. So there's your trigger warning, everyone. Toxin, voiced by Shoyo Chiba, is the third brother and the main lyricist and composer for Erosion. He's incredibly gentle and delicate despite his charismatic and intense aura on stage. He loves rock music and playing guitar more than anything. Yoru, voiced by Arthur Lounsbury, is the witty and foul-mouthed second brother that has a gaze that gets others entangled pretty quickly. He can be temperamental and completely oblivious of what others think of him. He's also a guitarist and singer-songwriter for the band. Nate, voiced by Ryota Suzuki, is the eldest of the brothers and Erosion's leader, surprising everyone with how well he can deal with each member and tend or accommodate to their needs. He's well-traveled, being passionate about learning new languages and knowledge as a whole. He's also the band's bassist. Byakuya, voiced by Yuya Hirose, is the fourth brother with a rich music sensibility. He is known as a clean freak, something that explains why he wears gloves at all times. He is incredibly knowledgeable about music, however, he can't put that into words, instead composing and writing music for the band while assuming piano duties. Kreha, voiced by Toshiyuki Toyonaga, is the youngest. He is unfriendly for the most part, hiding a lot of passion in his heart. He is extremely focused in his work, even going as far as repeating things again and again until he gets those right. He is known for his outstanding vocals and lyricist skills. He cites music as the reason why he hasn't committed suicide, which is pretty dark and tells us that there is more to his behavior than what meets the eye. In Cornelian Blood, music has saved all members from getting into all sorts of crazy stuff, with suicide being a topic explored with some attention throughout the franchise. Dynamic Chord. If there is a project that has in a way influenced 2D Music Plus situation drama projects, is Dynamic Chord. The franchise started with visual novels and music used as tie-ups, and only later on started to have standalone drama CDs with each character. I won't be diving into the whole cast as I did with the other projects in this episode, simply because there are over 15 different characters that have solo situation drama CDs, and will instead focus on the unique format that Dynamic Chord has to tell its stories. Most people will be aware that this franchise started with visual novels, with each band having a dedicated visual novel in which you, of different backgrounds ranging from being a rock star to being a manager or attending college with the band members, gets to interact with each character, understand their pain, regrets, passions, and help them overcome trying situations. Then, as a tie-up, come the singles released by each band, with the title track and B-side tracks being closely connected to the main story and one of the romances within said story. And to complement that, although not needed, are the individual situation CDs that are the epilogue to those stories. There are always the vocal CDs that are close to the concept of music plus situation drama CDs that all the projects in this episode have at their core. So Dynamic Chord is not a pure music plus situation drama franchise, but more like a mixed media franchise that in the last couple of years has focused on embracing situation drama in its CD releases. In case you want to know more about this franchise, I welcome you to check the long written feature or even the video version I created in 2021. It is a guide to Dynamic Chord. Links are in the description. Dear Vocalist, Hands down, the project that does this Music Plus Situation Drama CD formula perfect is Dear Vocalist. Highly regarded for its rich, well-fleshed-out character stories and interesting main story, as well as its star-studded cast and the high quality of the music, Dear Vocalist has been the project to influence all projects in this episode, of course, minus Dynamic Chord. At the core of this story are 6 vocalists signed to the music label Climax Records. This is a twisted music label that holds yearly survival live shows and survival trips, with the loser or the one that disappoints the president the most leaving the music label. So far, all members have survived the live shows and thus remained with the music label. However, there is a common sense of dread whenever the name President Panda or Panda Chacho arises. Franchise drama CDs have a good balance between crazy shenanigans, pure comedy, and character development, something that makes them a must-listen. However, this project is best known for its individual CDs, with each vocalist having his fair share of conflicts, issues, and challenges to tackle as they struggle to compose music to avoid leaving the label, while balancing their relationship with you, the listener, and their significant other. Ryodo, voiced by Toshiki Masuda, is the frontman for the rock band Lumiere. He is incredibly professional and devoted to you, going as far as finding time to call you in between jobs and inviting you to all sorts of things. He is quite needy and clingy, showing his love for you in the sweetest of ways. It is safe to say that despite that clingy behavior, Ryodo is the character that doesn't have any massive personality or behavioral issues. His music reflects his desires and passion for you. Joshua, voiced by Nobunaga Shimazaki, is a gentle soul and the frontman for the pop-rock band Brave Child. He's not the most confident person and will easily feel down and doubt his skills. Having such a fragile personality, he often raises your worries when he goes silent for a while, disappears without letting anyone know where he's gone, or locks himself up in his room trying to, and spoiler warning, kill himself. Throughout the CDs, Joshua learns to love himself and accept love from others, healing himself although the scars remain, something that the several ballads in his repertoire perfectly illustrate. Judah, voiced by Soma Saito, has serious anger management issues. He screams, shouts, breaks stuff, gets in fights with his guitarist, and can be quite rough when you interrupt him midway through one of those feats. On top of that, he's a genius singer-songwriter whose main passion is music. Living and breathing music is everything he does and listens to. Everyone in the Dear Vocalist franchise respects his skills. Although Judah doesn't like to admit it, and takes a really long time, almost 6 years, to admit that he's head over heels for you and that you're actually his muse, is insanely sweet and romantic at his core. Something you can only unveil as you go through the situation drama tied up to the songs. Out of all vocalists in this franchise, is the one with the most aggressive, yet straightforward and romantic repertoire, being quite easy to notice a story unfold, especially if you go through the songs chronologically. Tsuyu, voiced by Natsuki Hanae, has trust issues. He hates paparazzi, he doesn't like people meddling in his affairs, you included. He is particular about people mentioning his family that is all in the entertainment industry and with whom he doesn't want to be compared. He can be insanely cold and distant, not showing his emotions to avoid being hurt. He can drive you mad, can make you cry, and you can expect some level of instability with him, as he'll not hesitate to break off your relationship if he ever doubts your loyalty to him. This arrives as a shocker, as still in the first CD, you're no longer dating him after a couple of tracks, with that relationship being, later on, salvaged by Tsuyu that goes above and beyond to try to make up for something he said in the heat of the moment. As a result, his music is quite moody and passionate, going from ballads to shreddy, angry rock tunes. Momochi, voiced by Toshiyuki Toyonaga, is two-faced, an angel and genius for those working or fans of him, and Veronica is banned, and a twisted, manipulative person when the doors close and it's just you and him. Momochi is the type of character you can safely call yandere, and he'll go to weird, extreme means to get you to be with him or show your love for him. Yes, he's that type of character that will tie you up and leave you alone for hours with no way of escaping, just for you to atone for your sins of not telling him that you love him. At the core, you can say he doesn't trust others and is afraid of being left by those he loves, taking those fears to an extreme that is borderline abusive. He is not exactly the most straightforward person, and trying to understand him takes a lot of effort in the early stages of the CDs. I dare say that out of all vocalists in this franchise, he's been the one that has changed the least since the start. Still, he has started to showcase a soft spot in his music, and although still incredibly violent, especially in the music and in the way he shows his love, he now is straightforward about showcasing said love. Still, this is the type of character that you'll want to avoid given the amount of psychological and physical abuse you'll go through to try to heal him. A-Dash, voiced by Ryohei Kimura, is the most complex character in this franchise. While he's always overflowing with energy with the music in his band NSFW, or Not Safe for Work, being all about pure chaos with electronica and rock giving way to moody, anarchic songs, is dealing with a lot. Early on in the franchise, you can tell he's going through depression, and at times he shows signs of having bipolar disorder, having massive dips in mood, and with his behavior being all over the place when he's too excited or fragile. This will throw most people off right off the bat, as his intensity can go from "I'm going to tattoo your name on me" and "I want to die" pretty quickly. Throughout the CDs in the franchise, you get to slowly heal his wounds, show that you're there for him and that it is okay to be fragile. That's actually a sign of strength, that there is someone that cares deeply about him. As a result, if you listen to the music chronologically, you'll notice him going from pure madness and recklessness to pure love and care in the most recent CDs. The focus is completely on storytelling for the Dear Vocalist franchise, with you, the listener, being pivotal in healing them, growing as artists and being overall better people. The music perfectly tells those stories, but if you want to get to know up close the issues and be there for the characters, it's through the situation drama that you can achieve that. With this franchise running for so long, you'll inevitably end up feeling quite strongly about each character, looking at those flaws fondly and itching to know what the next chapter in your story with each of those vocalists will take you next. This is easily the best and most intricately fleshed out 2D music plus situation drama project out there, and now that the franchise has started to open its arms to international fans by releasing the CDs in the 6th season, Raving Beats, you can start diving into those stories even without the drama parts, as the songs perfectly sum up the happenings in each CD and the personalities of each vocalist. And with these, you and I wrap up this talk about 2D music plus situation drama projects. As you can tell from what you and I talked about in this episode, as well as on episode 81, 2D music plus situation drama projects are diamonds in the rough, underrated gems that are the perfect marriage between first-person storytelling and 2D music. Most of these projects have engaging, rich stories at their core, either exploring the groups or bands or even individually. Characters are flawed, growing throughout the CD seasons or even games. All these projects have star-studded casts and music of an insanely high level of quality. I feel like the charm and quality you can find in 2D music plus situation drama projects is unparalleled. So while I do love to check most 2D music projects, I seldom end up diving into those stories, as those are too convoluted, require me to watch anime, read manga, and who knows how many other things just for the music to click with me. I believe that good 2D music projects are the ones in which the music speaks for itself. The drama, situation or not, and the other media stemming from the project should be a complement to the music, or the music should sum up those. 2D music plus situation drama projects perfectly achieve that. So tell me, are you a fan of 2D music projects like the ones I just mentioned? And do you know about any other 2D music projects that have situation drama CDs? On my end, I thoroughly recommend you to check Dear Vocalist and Perfection Noise. Let me know your opinion in the comments on YouTube, and remember, leave your comments as complex or as simple as they may be, and you can be featured on upcoming episodes of Seiyu Lounge. For real, if there are any projects you mentioned that I haven't covered in this episode, I'll make an extra episode featuring your picks. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss the Hand That Feeds HQ's weekly mail, Seiyu and music-related content, hit the subscribe button. I'll return next week with another episode of Seiyu Lounge. Thank you for listening, and see you guys around.